Day 30, 100x my productivity in 30 days. Did I do it? Let's find out. Little spoiler alert, first of all. I did exponentially increase what I'm doing, but it wasn't with OpenClaw. So here's the rundown on what I'm using as far as tool stack. I'm canceling GPT, which I've had since 2022 when they launched the end of November then, because I don't feel like giving any money, even if I'm just giving 20 bucks a month, to a platform that is so gung-ho to be deceptive and fund a bunch of foreign wars. I'm not in support of war at all, so I'm not. And really, I haven't been using GPT like the last 6 months, hardly at all, because I don't like the results that I get from it, no matter what I put into the configuration prompts. It just doesn't get me as good of results as Claude, for sure. And then for social media, like for real-time X monitoring, I mean, Grok is obviously better for that. And Gemini for a lot of deep search stuff, along with now tools that can scrape YouTube videos and extract the text from transcripts, etc. So the stack now, because OpenClaw is awesome, but it's kind of like Linux versus Mac. Claude Cowork with code is unbelievable. But as of a few days ago, Perplexity Computer can do even more than Claude Cowork. And so I'm gonna use whichever platform stays in the lead. So right now, so for this month, it's gonna be Claude Cowork and Perplexity Computer. They both do different things. They both have different limits. So I'm gonna find out which one helps me be more productive. Right now, they're both really useful for deep research, for reports, for setting up emails, for drafting social media content, for drafting blogs, etc. But let's see which one stays in the lead, because it's like every few days these things are changing so massively. Every week there's some new drop from somebody. And so maybe in a couple of weeks, Claude Cowork is going to pull ahead, or maybe Perplexity Computer is going to like stay way in the lead. Who knows? And I'm keeping my OpenClaw agents alive and updated just to, you know, maybe play with them once a week or something, but they're not. I understand all the pros and cons of giving big companies your data versus having complete autonomy and sovereignty over everything with OpenClaw. But right now, at least for what I need to use this stuff for, they already have the ability to know everything about me anyway. They can already read my thoughts from my iPhone, most likely. I mean, from everything that I've read about the patents and stuff, and I'm a bit of a tinfoil hat guy. I always have been since a certain event in 2001. And so I've believed the two-way communication things while they were still conspiracies. And remember, this is just for educational purposes only, so don't shadow ban me, platforms. I mean, for entertainment purposes, not education. What am I saying? Entertainment, yeah. Now we know that everything in our device is listening to us, and then they're sending us ads, and the algorithm feeds off of our conversations externally, etc. But, you know, the past year, there's been a lot of talk about Apple and device manufacturer patents on their screens, that they're able to actually put thoughts into your head with 5G. They're actually able to read your thoughts. Maybe you don't believe it, but I mean, there's so much of the spectrum that we don't see, that we can't perceive with our 6 senses, 5 senses, whatever. I got a 6th sense. And so, yeah, that stuff all makes sense. So is it really, really that important to have complete privacy and to have total control over my data versus just getting things done? No, not right now. For me, I want to actually just get things done. And so if Perplexity Computer and Claude Cowork can just get things done for me, I don't really care if they know a lot about me personally, because I'm using devices anyway. So like I said yesterday, you have two choices. Either move completely off grid and be self-sufficient and disconnect and throw all your devices away, or go all in with these AI tools while we still have the opportunity to use them and maximize as much as you can. So that's what I'm doing. OpenClaw is cool. It's useful if you're really technical. I'm not super technical in terms of programming or coding. I mean, I've been using computers since the mid-90s, but I'm not super technical when it comes to programming languages at all. So the first time I had ever used Terminal was to set up OpenClaw. I managed to get it working on a local device, local Mac. I managed to get it working on AWS, so proud of myself for being non-technical and still being able to figure that out. But it's just so much time and effort debugging and figuring out why it broke or why it hit a certain rate limit when I'm not supposed to have rate limits on that AI brain platform. I mean, I used Gemini, I used Claude, or all the Anthropic ones. I used Kimi. I tried to use Grok, and that didn't work very well. And I tried to use OpenAI, and that didn't work very well either. So those were the ones that I set up or attempted or was able to use. Some of them worked better than others. It's just not cost effective in terms of the time that you have to spend to make it work for someone who's non-technical, whereas Claude Cowork just works out of the box. It's beautiful. You use the connectors, you set up with all of your different platforms that you use, and it just works. And now Perplexity Computer also just works, and it has way more connectors and way more things that it's able to do. It just functions, and it's all included in the price that you're paying for it. So it's, to me, that is totally worth it, and I'm getting huge value out of it. So I'm excited to see what this month brings, and I mean, it's worth staying up to date on what's happening now. These Chinese models, Quinn, that you can download, that are supposedly equal to GPT in terms of compute brain power and intelligence and whatnot. And you can run them on like a really old laptop, or people are running them on small devices like a Raspberry Pi or whatever. I mean, it's just constantly changing. So you have to stay up to date. You have to be able to use these tools to also keep you up to date at least every few days, like sending you, here's what's going on, here's the latest in AI news, etc. And then be able to spend the rest of your time on being productive for yourself, for clients, etc. And the thing that I said yesterday in a shorter video that I want to say in this one also is, I've decided, because this window I do think is short, I'm just going to go all in with my own purpose, with my own ideas, with my own projects, and find ways to have these AI tools help me to monetize those, and then take just a few client projects that really excite me, that'll be profitable, but also that are things that I actually want to work on. So instead of spending all my time and energy like, oh, I'm going to try and figure out an ebook to sell people on AI, or I'm going to try and create an app. Look, apps and operating systems aren't even going to exist in a year. So if you want to take advantage of the opportunity right now to sell an app, go for it, I guess. But just know that, you know, in 6 months' time, that app is not going to be making you money still. So no matter what your MRR is, it's probably not going to be there in a year, because no one is going to be using apps. No one is going to be using operating systems. We're just going to have devices that come pre-programmed to plug in your agent stack, and you'll be able to create the dashboard, the operating system that you want. And maybe for the masses, there'll be mass-produced stuff that still, you know, sort of does everything for you, and you can just use it. Like, I know that there's a lot of people who aren't technical or even like computer savvy, who just want to turn on their computer and use it. They want to turn on their phone and use it. But for the smaller percentage of society that are computer savvy, tech savvy, in the way that, you know, you're using tools to run your business, to grow your business, for whatever you're using it for content creation, you're going to want to create your own dashboards and your own software and your own apps, and that's what's going to be available in months, but definitely within a year. So to me, it doesn't make sense to try and educate people on what's happening, because by the time you get something published, unless you publish it same day and are selling same day, I think it's going to be outdated in 2 weeks anyway. So it's better to just use the tools and stay up to date on what's happening and use them for your own purpose. And this is really key, I think, at least for me, because I have lots of ideas, and anybody that is listening to me ever probably is also an idea person, a builder, a creative person, high agency. You want to figure stuff out yourself, you're a polymath, an autodidact. Like, there is so much that I think I can bring to the world, which is why I did this whole 30-day thing in the first place. Because I have stuff that I want to work on and I'm passionate about it, but Other people might not necessarily be passionate about it, or I don't have the budget to pay someone, a couple $100,000 a year to focus just on my ideas, my projects. So the idea of using agents to accomplish these things is super exciting. And now to be able to see these things much more automated and be getting reports daily and big reports weekly and being able to dive into these things and then take action on those. And it just cuts my energy output down by like 90% to where I can just really focus on, okay, this is what I want to build right now, and then build it and have it come to life. And it's like, okay, well, now I got to figure out the marketing aspect, and now I can go do that, and I can build tools to do that. I'd rather just be able to do that out of the box. So that's exciting in terms of using these platforms as opposed to fussing with OpenClaw right now. Eventually, hopefully, I have an army of OpenClaws or whatever the agents are so that I can do that, because it's fun. And it's, I think, better to be more autonomous and self-sufficient and have it on your local machines. But also, what is my purpose? Why am I here at this point in human history, in this game, this simulation, this spiritual adventure? What am I supposed to be learning? And how can I contribute value to the world and learn the things that I personally am supposed to be learning? And so I've been able to narrow that down over the last few weeks very, very specifically. I mean, I kind of knew, but I also tend to get distracted with other things and try and do too much. And so now it's very, very siloed. It's sort of a 3-pronged approach with me in the middle of that. And it's very exciting because I think that now over the next few weeks, with that renewed focus, instead of trying to do everything, instead of trying to cater to so many different companies that I know need help, but instead of spending so much time and energy on that, so a little bit of time for that and a lot of time for, here's my purpose, here's what I want to bring to the world, here's the value that I think I can contribute, and just really dig in and focus fully on that and getting into flow with who Josh Galt is, why I'm here, and what I can contribute to the world. And also not rely on the algorithm and all of that, but really have a strategic plan for my own personal brand. I've always taken great care with curating my own personal brand, with maintaining that. And that's why I have a great body of work. And that's why the living library thing is cool, because I mean, I've been doing that for 20 plus years and been careful with my image and what I put out there and being as authentic as possible, because the worst thing is to lie, because then when you get caught in that, you either have to continue lying and lying and lying, or you have to come clean and you have that stain on your reputation. And so I've always just attempted to be real and be who I am and be honest and authentic. But there's also been a lot of things that I've just kept closed and kept hidden that really there's no reason to be doing that and to be keeping it quiet, because it's who I am. And so that's been my push. You may have seen other videos where I talk about being authentic, and the real superpower, the highest frequency, is being authentic. It's funny, I posted a meme the other day too, because people always comment on the authenticity and the vibration and those things like, it's so new agey, it's so stupid. And it's like, well, you believe in Wi-Fi, you believe that the entirety of human knowledge and all of our media and culture and business and everything is run from these satellite waves that you can't see, but you don't believe in frequencies, you don't believe in energy that you can't see, that whether you want to look at it from a scientific perspective or a spiritual perspective or any number of different perspectives, clearly does exist, and it clearly is at the core of the framework of our world. And so I'm going to keep talking about it because I believe that it's absolutely legitimate and true and powerful. And so I want to tap into positive, higher frequency and do that through my own love for life, my own joy for life, my own search for peace, inner peace and external peace with the world, although I'm more than willing to fight. I got a video I haven't been able to edit on that, but I'm going to post that here in the next day or two. But to just be authentic and to be real, and instead of putting it out there and be like, well, the algorithm doesn't like me because I'm authentic and real, and my ideology is anti-algorithm, And so I've been posting for 20 years and nobody sees anything I post. I don't have any followers because the algorithm punishes me and shadow bans me. Okay, Josh, that may be true, but you also have never done anything to try and promote yourself. I haven't. I never do. So that is something that I'm going to spend more time using these tools to do. And not because I want to offer personal branding services to anyone. I just think that I should have personal branding service for myself and really build all of these tools around marketing me and my businesses and my brands and my companies and things that I believe are awesome and can contribute value to the world, whether that's Beaky or Bad at My Religion as a podcast looking at higher issues, or whether that's something like Venturopoly and a whole new framework for frontier investing. There's so much that I've worked on or that I've developed and I just haven't pushed out there because of various reasons. But now that's really going to be a larger part of my purpose. And I published a blog a while back, I guess it was late last year, about polishing chosen altars and how, as an entrepreneur, you often have to throw a lot of shit at the wall and see what sticks, especially when you're an idea person and when you're navigating the world of business. There's just, when you have lots of ideas, sometimes you hit winners, sometimes you hit losers, and it's often a numbers game. And so that's important, but there's also a time when you have to say, this is something I want to go all in with, and I really believe in this, and I want to polish it and make it something beautiful. And so through the course of the last year, Beaky went through an accelerator and got a little bit of VC funding from that. And we've kind of taken a little bit of a zigzag approach over the last year with a lot of ups and downs and different things that have happened. But the thing that I really have come to understand is we want to do this. I want to build Beaky and the idea of hive fermentation no matter what. So instead of we're focusing on, okay, we got to fundraise, we got to turn this into a startup, we got to do this, like we're just going to bootstrap it. We do have a deck for investors and we are ready to raise money if that opportunity should present itself, and we will continue to look for the right fits. But we're just going to do it. We're just going to continue bootstrapping it because it's something that we love and it's something that I believe has massive potential. And it's something that I want to build. It's something that I see an opportunity, and it's something that I have created over the past year to become an entity, a brand, a product, a whole marketing story that has been developed and is just starting. We're just starting to get it out there, that I think is beautiful and powerful and really resonates with me. And so it's something that is, for me, an altar that I want to polish and polish well. It's a gift to be able to have a brand and a product that is tangible, that is healthy, that is natural, that is organic, that fits in a niche that right now is very small and untapped, but can become very big, and to really go all in with that. And so that's going to be one of the things that I really push on, along with a couple other things. So this is a long video. I tend to talk way too much, but I'm excited about these tools. I'm excited about everything that I learned in the last month. I mean, man, the speed that AI is happening is just, it's unbelievable. But yet it's also believable, because if you've been paying attention for the last couple of years, you knew that there was going to come a point when this was going to hockey stick. And really, if you've been paying attention at all for the last decade, I mean, Tim Urban, the Wait But Why blog guy, wrote the Paperclip AI blog in 2015, I think it was. And you may remember that. But you remember the point, and he just posted this recently. You remember the point at the upward trend of AI where it goes hockey stick. And at that point, it's like a battle for humanity, because that's where the paperclip story that became so famous came from. Is, well, suddenly this AI may just decide that it wants to start a paperclip factory, and so in the interest of being efficient, it needs to get rid of all the humans, and then it needs to go mine other planets because it wants to make the best paperclips, etc. And it's kind of a humorous example, but it's also, as we're seeing now with AI and the growth that's happening and just the rapid speeds that models are getting better, faster and faster every week. I mean, we're getting really close to that point. And there's a lot of talk that like 98% of the planet is just completely oblivious to what's happening. Like half of like information knowledge workers could lose their jobs this year. And that's no joke. And I posted something about that on TikTok a couple months ago about how gatekeeping is over. And like everyone in the comments is like, you're so stupid, AI sucks. I'm like, okay, bro. Yeah, what are you're asking Chat GPT for recipes or what? Like, no, AI doesn't suck. Yes, at that point, which was like in January, I think, AI was already better than the majority of knowledge workers that are gatekeeping in terms of law or finance or medicine, etc. But now, 2 months later, I mean, it's exponentially better at everything, including coding, including image and video generation. Like, there's so much that people just have no idea what's happening because they use the most powerful technology in known human history to look at memes of cats instead of attempting to learn how to use these tools and be productive. And so I'm excited because I want to learn more and use these tools to be productive. And I've just decided, since I'm not moving off grid to a 1,000-hectare ranch and living self-sufficiently right now, I would love to do that, but that's not where I am right now. So I'm going to go all in with these tools and see if I can accumulate enough from using these tools well, but for my purpose specifically, that over time then I can avoid the Terminators when they get here in a few months, or at the very least a few years probably, and be living in my safe house off grid somewhere with beautiful mountain views and sunshine and whitewater river flowing through the property and lots of livestock and organic foods. That sounds great to me. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but I'm gonna put myself out there in a way that I have never have before, because I think I have to. And honestly, it's exciting learning all this stuff and realizing like how few people are aware of what's really truly happening and how few people seem to care. That's the crazy thing. When this is just, it's so massively powerful. And you know what? At the very, very least, I'm gonna learn the lessons by going for my authenticity as much as I possibly can control. I'm going to learn the lessons that I'm here to learn, and that's the most important thing. So even if I'm wrong, so you can, laugh and be like, oh, you're so stupid, AI is not going to do that, nobody's going to lose their jobs, and the government is trustworthy, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, even if I'm wrong, I'm doing this for me, not for you, and that's the most important thing in this process, is to authentically put myself out there and what I'm learning and what I'm building, and build things that I love, not worry about what anybody thinks about them, except for the people that also can love them. And I've done that before. I've built industries before that people loved, and so I know that I'm capable of doing that. I understand how it works. I understand you have lots of haters, and you have to be able to laugh at yourself. You have to have strong beliefs held loosely. You have to take things very, very seriously and yet not take yourself too seriously at all. All of these paradoxes in life. That's what makes it spicy, makes it fun. And that's what eventually, hopefully, makes it productive and profitable. So, hope you got some value out of this. If you did watch the whole thing, thank you so much. You're one of the few. And yeah, let's go. Whoever you are, whoever's watching, go live your purpose also, and keep learning this stuff, because it's exciting and it's going to be useful and you can do it.